Hey, welcome everybody. This is Business Over Beer Untapped. I'm gonna start over on that one.
You could do that?
You'd be like,
I'm editing it. Hey everybody, welcome to Business Over Beer
Untapped.
Untapped, thank you. I'm your co-host Ben Surratt. Alongside me is
Keys. I'm just kidding. Keys.
Kimberly Keys. Yeah. And in this episode, who are we interviewing today?
Yes, we have Rose Carlson, a member of Passages to Success, owner of Stack 7 Strategies. And you're welcome to plug some of your other adventures and companies as well as we talk.
Boom. Welcome, Rose.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, perfect voice. Thank you so much.
I've been working on
and
my
Trevor's,
voice.
yeah, he's still here from the last episode. Man, you really stayed a long time, dude.
We're that enjoyable. We're
It's
that
been
enjoyable.
at least
It's
a
happy
week.
hour.
It's been at
happy
least
hour.
a week. Crazy.
actually all empty.
Nobody's gone home to shower.
Of course, yeah, Trevor Hart. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for staying. Yeah, it's awesome.
Feel free to chime in if you have some questions or comments or anything like that. Please fill in.
For sure. That's Untapped. It's for everybody. We're untapping the lives of everybody.
I like it. I like it.
Rose, before we get into, well, you're not drinking a beer, but I am. Before I get into the beer I'm going to drink, who are you?
Well, I am Rose. I am, as she mentioned, the owner of Stack 7 Strategies. And do we look into the mic in here? Or
Doesn't
here?
matter.
Doesn't matter? Okay.
Nope, doesn't matter.
So owner... Okay. Wait. Now my face got red.
You're not even drinking.
This is why we don't drink.
Oh, I see.
Rose drinking. No, okay. So owner of Stack 7 Strategies, and I've been a photographer for about 15 years, which is my passion. And I have recently ventured into more community outreach and trying to get more involved in my direction of how I impact the community. So that's my newest
I
venture.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into all that. First, I'm going to open this beer.
What are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
I am drinking the New Matrix from American Solera. Kevin from Taps always just gives me, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kevin from Taps hooked me up and they said, "Here, take these for your podcast." So I'm gonna.
I kind of need to do that too.
I know, you want to open one, right? Should have brought some sparkle hops.
What do you rate it?
Yeah, taste. It says it's double dry hopped. It's different.
It smells like hangover the next day, but it tastes really good.
Smells like hangover. I agree.
Anyways, it's not bad.
These podcasts become more unhinged.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, Rose. So what got you... No, where are you from originally?
I moved up here from California in the Bay Area about 3.5 years ago, and I am absolutely loving it. All the colors and the rain and water and all the things. So it was time to get out of California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy down there.
Yeah, I still go back for a lot of my photography. Like I said, I've been doing it for about 15 years there, so I've built a lot of relationships with people. So I go there for business quite a bit, and I do have web development clients there and all of that stuff.
And family still?
Yeah, my family's from there. Kind of all spread over Northern California. So I make my ways through from like the Redding area down to the Bay Area and all the things. Not really in Southern California though. Got a little bit of family in Southern California, but not enough to go down there often.
It's beautiful there, though.
Different kind of beautiful. I say we're two different states, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
We are Northern California people, and then there's Southern California people.
Oh, yeah,
We
100%.
separate ourselves, yeah. So, different beaches. We don't have a lot of palm trees up there in Northern California and all that stuff. So
why Vancouver?
Well, first of all, it's gorgeous. Close enough back to home, so like it's just a hop, skip, and a jump back to the Bay Area. I really enjoy the diversity in the settings, so you can be at the beach.
Like, why did you pick? Like, were you up here before? Did you know?
Oh,
of
yes.
it?
I actually came and I visited a friend here in the dead of a winter storm, and I was still in awe of it. I know you guys are not as awe of all your storms that you have, but I came in January, maybe about 5 years ago, and I knew my life was kind of shifting, but I didn't know how much it was going to shift. And looking at the places, I also considered Texas. We all us Californians always consider Texas on our way, and then Washington, Oregon is obviously one of our better picks because when you are from the West Coast, you try to stay on the West Coast. Yeah, it's hard to leave the West Coast once you are in the West Coast. It has it all: the mountains, the beaches, the rivers, the lakes, the beautiful land. Yeah, just a little bit of snow, a little bit of fire, a little water and rain. It has all the things: a little bit of fire, a little bit of snow.
All the elements.
But we're not having maybe earthquakes, but we're not having tornadoes.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. Jeez.
Yeah, we just had some earthquakes down there.
Yeah.
And, everything on the way. But I think in all the states now you get to pick your elements.
Yeah.
I choose water.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so photography. Let's talk about that. So we'll get into your business, but why did you pick up photography? Like, how did you get into that?
Yeah, so that's actually a good question. I've always been drawn to just taking photos here and there. I was definitely the person that had like the wind-up ones that we used to like take off and get it film.
Oh, yeah.
Disposable cameras. I couldn't
ones.
remember.
I have one for tomorrow.
Yes, this
Do
is
you
charades.
really?
This is charades for disposable camera because you got to ask your kids if they know what this is. Yeah. So I was always just fascinated with all of that. And then I started my web development business, and when that started going well, I decided to invest in my passion, because we all often do work outside of passion. And when I saw that opportunity, once that web development was going well, I invested in that, and it's kind of been going ever since. I do remember the days where I would struggle to get people to let me take their photos for free. There was always that imposter syndrome is heavy. It's a saturated industry. Everybody has, it's been like that for a long time, especially now. And so it took a little bit of grit and hanging in there and following. It was something you definitely wanted to be passionate about, because you'd want to give up because of how all those inundated feelings. It evolves quickly in the digital era, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about that with Trevor over here, about just how things change and how things can get ugly in the digital world. It's completely different.
Oh yeah, and I've been in the digital space since we had flip phones. That's my
geez, yeah.
So I've seen it grow. I saw when Google first started coming around. I've seen when all the things, and it's been quite an interesting space. And the competitiveness of the digital world has really enhanced. And what's different is how everybody has access to it. The small businesses to the large corporations have the same access. We haven't really seen that before, where, like you'd have commercials and all those things. You just kind of knew those were the bigger companies. As you watch, everybody has access to Google. You and I, every startup, the same, it just depends on your budgets and competitions, and it becomes very competitive.
Yeah. When we first started our business, 13 freaking years ago, we used GoDaddy for our website.
GoDaddy.
And we were proud of it, though. It was awesome. It's our own freaking website.
Yeah, totally.
And then it seemed within, 2 years, 3 years, it was already outdated. It was already I don't want to say archaic, but damn close to being archaic. And so we had to upgrade. We had to hire a web designer to actually take that, and they made it into what it is. Well, we had to do it again. But I just find it fascinating. Is it difficult for you to keep up?
Yes, this is actually a conversation I was just having last night with somebody. As I press into this new world, we're having a 185% increase in evolution. The way things are evolving online is greater than we've ever seen before. Obviously, that has to do with AI. And I used to be able to take a class maybe once every couple of years where I needed to update on some things, or maybe every 6 months find a new avenue, because there's infinite possibilities online. So what you want to learn, what you want to offer, and all of those things kind of curate where you go. Now, by the time you're finishing a class or learning a platform, I mean, Google itself will evolve before and so the pressure is on. The pressure is on for all of us working in the digital field. More, even us that have been doing it comfortably for many years. I think once you get comfortable with the digital world and the way it evolves and things like that, you don't stress it as much because you kind of just know, there's just kind of some growing pains. We'll get in there, kind of wait it out, learn some new skills, and evolve with it. This is rapid. And then we're up against AI. So that's where this is new. And competing against other web developers, other corporations, other things that fall into the digital world as they came in, like when we first were doing websites, you didn't really have to pay attention to mobile. That was probably something that happened to you back when you were doing it.
Yeah.
This is the main thing we talk about.
That was the main thing, actually.
Yeah. They weren't mobile compatible.
Mobile compatible, yeah.
I remember laughing when I first had to go back and we all had to learn mobile. I was like, oh, so we have to learn 2 codes? And then they just add, and now we have the ADA compliance where that's a whole nother set of coding. And now we're having all the new cybersecurity coding. So sometimes you can feel overwhelmed or defeated. Sometimes that it's like, do I really want to pursue in that? And so right now for a lot of us, I think harnessing the AI, if you want to stay in the digital world, as a form of employment and not just a hobby, because you will get outdated fast. And knowing the skill sets will always be valuable. I think that that's a phenomenal thing to have, but it's a question I'm having for myself. Because, to put a lot of effort and what it takes to grow businesses, maintain businesses, especially in this economy, especially with everything that's going on. As your business is growing, so is the cost of doing business. So you feel like, if I just get to this marker, I can invest here or put some more energy here. But the cost of doing business goes up. So you're constantly in that race. And adding the digital world to that is a big step for a lot of people.
And we talked about, I'm keeping Trevor's here, so I keep getting, but we talked about having those conversations with clients about money and about, investing into their website. How do you find it difficult to talk money, and especially if things are going even pricier? Like, is that a difficult conversation to have?
Yes and no. It just really depends on the client. Some of my mom and pop shops, I like to call them, that have been running businesses a certain way for the past 30 years. Sometimes it's difficult for me to explain to them the importance of why business needs to change. And then coming back 6 months later and being like, guess what? It changed some more. It used to be I'd have that conversation with them. We'd smooth things out. I'd create strategies, and that'd last a little bit before they need updates or before they need those things. Right now, if they're not maintaining their websites it's not just a website that needs to be maintained, it's a digital strategy. It's an online presence that you have to continuously enhance. And I feel like that's the conversation that I'm having a more difficult time with is, one, getting the time to educate people to make informed decisions for their business. That's more of a challenge, getting people's time to sending that email that's like, hey, this is X, Y, and Z that just rolled out. This is where I think we should go for your company. This is getting overlooked, or just getting business owners' time in general can be difficult sometimes. And so when I do have it, I want to make sure it's valuable to them. So informing clients would probably be, rather than the difficult conversation about money, because I think at this point, a lot of the businesses understand the importance of having a budget for this, just like you have a budget for everything else. I mean, every company starts off in spaces where people are wearing all the hats, and then it grows a little bit. Then you get a bookkeeper, right? That's usually one that we usually get. You usually get a CPA, you get those certain things, and you get an admin to alleviate some of that. People are often wearing the hat, the digital marketing hat, to start as well. And explaining to them that's one you shouldn't try to do on your own, because it's just overwhelming, and it's such a full-time job for people, because now you have your social media and your website and your Google and your SEO and the directories, podcasts. I mean, and we're just out of breath listing them, let alone trying to maintain those on a daily basis. So I think that's more where it's at. People have accepted the spending money on it, but right now in this economy, disposable income is not really a thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think, and this is just the people I've talked to, the business owners we've talked to, they have, it can be like pulling teeth for them to understand why it's important.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like why it's important to invest in something like that, because
Yes.
I think you will fall behind quick. And nowadays, and if you're in a competitive industry too, holy cow.
Correct. And the digital space is just growing. It's just taking it over. So getting the time is harder, I guess, than explaining it for me. Because once I get a little bit of someone's time and I just use that to explain the benefits and the strategies and the outcomes, the results, the return on investment and all the things.
Yeah, ROI,
it's just getting that time. And so I'd say more so as we come into closer to the election, I'm seeing businesses be, I'll just wait until after the election. I'll just wait till the new year. I'm hearing a lot of that right now on renewals, people who I'm working on proposals with. I'm definitely seeing that. And then also I think AI. People are waiting on AI a little bit.
What do you mean with AI waiting to see where it's going to go?
What it can do for them. So when everything comes out, why do I, not only are we having the money thing, why do I need you when AI says it can do this? This often comes. So I'm getting pressure from two ends when it comes to the web world right now. It's the holding on to the money, and then also somebody can do this for cheaper. And then we have the outsourcing overseas for web development. I'm in an industry that can be outsourced overseas. So I have a few things putting pressure on that right now. And so it's an interesting, I'm getting certified for some areas in Google right now. And then they just changed some stuff. And I was like, oh, good.
Jeez.
Yeah. So they have a new cybersecurity certificate that they're really trying to help people and web developers gain in. And new stuff is rolling out faster than it can get into the classes.
Yeah.
And things. So it's quite interesting.
Crazy.
That's the benefit of having you there to help out, is that you are on top of all that.
Yes. That's once I start running down the list of things that I actually do and not just say digital marketing. And when we start at the top or they think me as just a web developer, that's often a confusion too. Web developer is often not just somebody who creates your website. They're developing the web for you is kind of like how it is. And it's, I'm focused a lot more. I used to do just web development and boosting your SEO on web development, but I'm more into, my business has geared the last year and a half into online strategies. So I sit down with your company, look at your needs. Some companies really benefit from being on YouTube and TikTok, some do not. And so we need to create strategies that are good for their industries, their specific budgets, things like that. So when that kind of tips back to the money thing, is I don't run into that as much because I saw that coming. And we've seen it coming since COVID, really. And I created these strategies where they can choose the level of growth they would like to have. Do you want to just maintain it? Do you want to grow it? Do you want to go all in and light that match that ignites you online? There's lots of different ways you can approach that. And so giving people the option was much better. And putting it all in one, not explaining every little thing. This is your package. This is what you get. Because you think of it when you go to a restaurant and there's a million things on the menu.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to decide, and you're taking longer, and then and so people that are spending their money in businesses, the longer they take to decide, we all know that, the less they're going to spend.
Big
so
time.
making it simple and executing that.
And people love the value meals.
Yep, that's what I. Yep. And so I put my value meal to make the most money for me. I figured that one out. Those value meals actually make more money for the companies than we know than the high price ones. It's quite interesting.
So I got two topics.
I like it.
You pick which one.
All right.
First, I want to talk about AI, and the second is cybersecurity. So you pick which one to talk about first.
All right, AI. Let's shoot AI and see what
AI
I got.
first. Okay.
All right.
So what is up with AI, and how can it benefit me as a small business owner, and how does it benefit you for your business?
All right, so I can dive in a little bit how it benefits me right now at the current moment. I utilize it to create blogs and content and web SEO and all kinds of things that would be more on the tedious side. So I don't tend to use it for the hashtags because I try to do more of the general hashtags that are authentic to each corporation or business or things like that. but mostly for content creation and research. I've been asking it to do research for me, and I think analytical research, competitive research, and all of our target market research, all of those different things, it can do that and give you a good layout for a target market, very clean. You can ask it, this is my business, what would be my ideal target market with this specializing in this? And it'll break it down pretty good. And then you can ask it, okay, create a strategy for me to best reach that target market online. And then it will tell you some good suggestions. And then it doesn't have the critical thinking skills as much as it takes. And that's kind of what you need online to stand out. I think that it does a really good job for me for the generic stuff, that information. And then I take that information and turn it into a strategy that works well. I add the critical thinking component. So it takes out the mundane tasks. And as somebody in the digital marketing world, all the mundane tasks are real nice to get rid of. The tedious tasks.
Yes. It's good to use it as maybe an organization tool, but also a brainstorming, like get some kind of starting point, and now you create it to make it your own.
Yes.
Like don't copy and paste.
10 out of 10 recommend that as a brainstorming tool and not the copy and paste. If you're in a pinch and you need to get something together and you're just going to do that on a time thing, but always go back and review it when you get the chance. Always go back, because the thing is we're all being sold to on all kinds of, we're all overwhelmed with information these days, and I feel like society's craving authenticity. They just really are. And we know. I mean, right now we're all in this hype where the new AI videos and AI photos having a hard time telling.
Talking about that.
We get excited about it, but I mean, the videos, I saw one the other day and I was like, oh no, we're getting close. We're getting close to not being able to tell. And it's the beginning of the end. No, I'm just kidding.
So when you have a client that's waiting to do something because they want to see what AI does, how do you sell against that, or how do you educate them on the misconceptions of what they might think it can do currently, or what it might do, say, in the short term?
That's a good question. So first of all, I really evaluate the knowledge that client has. And like you said, a lot of people have misinformation right now about AI. Unless you're utilizing it yourself on a regular basis, it's not, I feel like this is like when computers first came out and we're like, computers are going to kill us and they're going to take our jobs. And they did in some capacity. We're glued to them, right? And we use them, but they're not taking over all of our jobs. You still need to maintain it in some way. And while right now AI doesn't have sentiment or critical thinking skills, I think that explaining to them that it still needs to be managed. And also, do you know, my question, okay, well, what AI would you like to use? AI would you like to use? I just ask them that. And it'll be crickets. Like, well, what would you, how would you, great. I'd love to be an asset in helping you do that. Let me share my knowledge with you about that platform. Maybe you and I can figure it out together. That's often one, because to be real with a lot of my clients, I don't know all this AI stuff. They might have heard of a platform that works specific to the wine industry, that is coming out with new ways to track things, or different qualities of beers. It can do all that analytical stuff. So if they have a platform that I don't know about, or they have a misconception about, that's often the thing. So just giving the information and then letting them sit on it and think about it. There's a whole lot of sitting and thinking about things right now, just as the world's turning in many directions. And so, but yeah, AI questions are unique to each client. I kind of just see where our knowledge is, because the different generations, the different levels of business, all require different information.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have people who've been in business for, 50 years. It's a mom and pop shop, whatever. And they're like, I don't know. Rose, I have no idea.
Or they're mad. They're very upset about it. They are very
Really?
upset. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of that. So if I don't have...
In what way? Just because
the change.
it exists?
People resist change.
Yeah, okay.
Especially the generations. I think the newer generations of business coming in, it's going to be quite interesting. Watch them. We've got the full digital. So my kids are pretty much almost all digital. I have the 18 and 20-year-old. And as they're hitting the workforce, they were born in everybody glued to their digital devices, but by the time they were kids, this was becoming normal. By the time they were in high school, very normal. They're hitting the workforce now. So not everybody's target market is that generation, but they are coming into the new money spending people. This is the next generation of spending money. And so paying attention to that is important, I think, and explaining that to clients too. I mean, obviously, if you're a realtor, your target market is not an 18-year-old with, a part-time job. That's obvious. But they are going to be very soon, in the next 5 to 10 years, your target market. And so adapting now so that you're not scrambling is often something I do talk to about my clients. Like, let's get this rolling now, or let's get an understanding of how this can benefit it. And AI is unique to each industry. So that's what I think is very cool too. Like we were talking about the first question, how does it work for me versus how it can work for you, is probably totally different answers. Her and I will be similar because we work in the same space, digital, tedious tasks that we were so happy to hand over to AI.
Right.
And then there's ones we're sad to see go. So,
How much of you think is just snake oil that's being sold right now?
don't ask me that one. Okay, so I got to get into this. So, I personally have been in the tech world. I was married to a tech for 20 years. So it's tech and digital space. These are two very different things. This is like sales and marketing. People often get them confused. Tech world and digital world are not always the same thing. Tech world is like your devices. Digital is what's going on inside your devices. That's a way that I like to. And I think it's not snake oil. I've been watching this. I've been watching this for quite some time. And like I said, that 185% that's the fastest we've ever seen. We've never seen anything grow that fast. I can handle that 50% growth rate, maybe a 60 to 70. This is wild. And I pay attention. I've been paying attention. I was at barbecues, 2 or 3 years ago, before it was mainstream in ChatGPT, telling people about AI and get ready, and it's here. And
Well, you told us.
Yeah, it's
Like,
here.
A couple years ago, yeah.
When we first met.
Right when we met.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when we did the.
Yeah.
And yes, and people were using it to write. I should never unlock that. The cards to their. Yeah.
Yes.
You can use this. Another use for AI is to write sentimental.
Yeah, you know who you are, bro.
Sentimental cards to your wife. That she absolutely thought was the best ever.
You know who you are, bro. Not gonna name any names, homie, but you know who you are.
So it can be used to write love letters.
Such good
from
times.
your heart. A nice little love letter from your heart.
I was like, did you read it first?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Copy
Because-
paste.
He read it after he pasted.
He hand wrote
Well, you know.
it. He hand wrote it from the screen. Don't be rude. Don't exaggerate. No. But anyways, I do remember that. And so it can be used for all kinds of things, like making up with people, and mending relationships and all the things. Because if you can't speak from your heart, speak with AI. That's what we'll say.
So going down that route, do you think we're going towards like the dead internet theory, where it's just going to be
The
AI
dead internet.
talking to AI?
Okay. That's sad. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, don't people think it's already
Yeah.
happening though? Isn't that
Yeah. So have you guys seen the AI robot that came? And he's what's his name?
Can you explain?
Optimus.
Can you explain
Optimus.
the dead internet theory though for people who don't know what that is?
Well,
Trevor kind of did, but it's pretty elaborate, right? Like,
I don't know if we're gonna go there. The internet rules the world. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that we haven't had a threat of anything being smarter than us, and I think that that's the biggest thing to talk about. Like overall, it doesn't really matter whether we lose our internet or evolve. Because if you would have told people back when we were talking about email that we were going to send documents through the air instantly, they would have been like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Like you would have been told, get out of here. So I've been telling people about AI, similar concepts where people are like, get out of here.
Which?
We see them now. My witchy ways, you must watch. No, it's seriously a thing. And we're still humans though. Things might be smarter than this, but like they don't have sentiment. They don't have value. And I think the more we push into this, the more we're going to crave authenticity. I'm seeing more and more mental health awareness of these things, and I saw something, it was quite interesting. I forget where it was. We don't have these in our dreams. A lot of us don't have all of these devices in our dreams. It's just like for how much it's in our, I know.
I don't.
And how glued you are to these things and how involved they are in our lives.
You're
I sat there like that.
right.
I sat there thinking about this.
I never thought of that.
I had computers in my dreams just because I've
You need to settle down.
Work.
You're one of the weird ones. You need to settle down.
You just settled down.
I
You need
dreamed
to
about
take
a
a nap.
scanner. Yeah, I've definitely had a dream.
Printers get in my dreams. Breaking the printer now when it didn't connect to Wi-Fi.
Office spacing it.
Yeah. Office space gets in my head. I have that playing in my head more than actual computers. But my point to that being is it is a very cool thought to think about how much we are glued to these things and what a huge part of they are, and they're not really in our dreams, and it's because it's not authentic life.
Never thought of that.
I know it's something I saw somewhere in the tech world, and I was like, there's a lot of interesting things to think about.
And that might go to what you were saying, Keys, about like how the next generation is leaning towards being done with it and being more in
That's what I'm
person. And
Yeah. I agree.
They're done with it. No, I think they just maybe have seen patterns that they don't want to uphold going into the future. So it's almost like finding our roots again. As humans.
Authenticity.
Yeah,
Authentic life.
100%,
Authentic
yeah.
life. It's a really big thing.
It's
And
not going away completely. I don't see how it can.
no, it's
so
going
much
to grow.
of it functions the way we operate and move and stuff, and it's going to continue to grow, but also I think elevate in a different way. I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
It's going to be a battle.
What is that conversation? It's going to be extremely elevated. Now it's taking over.
Trevor.
They're not okay. So I've been interested. So I have a little bit of the don't. I have the. So since I have the older kids and then my younger kid, I often get to see just that 10-year gap in the generations, right? So my son's 20 and then I have a 10-year-old as well. And so I ask them different questions like, what is a Rolodex? And all those ones. And my older son will know and youngest doesn't. But one time I went to them without any prompting, without anything. I just wanted to know, the chips that are coming out so we can do everything through not carrying purses and all the things. You can do life through a chip. This is the new thing that they want to do.
Like, you mean put that in your body?
Yeah. This is like,
Oh my God, no. That
this is
freaks
fairly
me
common
out.
now.
Fast pass, but
Yeah.
That freaks me out.
So I went. This freaked me out. And I was like, no way. Because you and I are like, no way. This is weird. This is the same thing. People thinking the email was going to send to us. And then I was like, oh, let's see what these kids think. So I went and asked the kids, and I asked my older kids. They both thought about it. The two older kids, the 18 and 20-year-olds, thought about it. So my son said, I think you need it because you lose everything. But other than that, he
Thanks.
was like, I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, he just was like, you lose everything, so it's a good idea. But they were like, I don't think I'd do that. The younger one thought it was cool. Thought it was a great idea. And again, that's his elementary thinking of like being superhero, still kind of imagination play is still in his, so he doesn't grasp the full reality. But the normalization of something like that to him in this digital era is normal. And people are signing up for it now. It will be a mainstream thing. We will see it, and we will be identified as the older generation because we don't have it. That's what I always think, But so, like you said, it's going to be the pull, though. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle from all these kids that are raised by 70s and 80s parents that still kind of instilled some of that in them, and then the kids that are full on digital. So it's going to be one of those things. But back to my idea of authenticity. That's why they're not in our dreams. That's why they're not out in nature with us. That's why it feels so good to get away from them. Even though we crave them, even though we get addicted to them, even though we feel lost when our computer's broken for a day or our phone, fell in the water for the day. We feel lost without them, but we can't wait to be without them too. So
Yeah.
It's the same. It'll be the same battle going through all the generations. It's just normalcy.
Oh, phone died.
Mic do I need this?
That's okay. It's a good segue. Then I don't want you to leave without talking about cybersecurity
Let's do it.
because it's so important And
It is.
a lot of small business owners, including myself, didn't realize until I met you how important it really is. And just because, is mine going? Okay. They may think they're not big enough, that they can get hacked and have these issues. It's the opposite now.
Very opposite.
So talk a little bit about cybersecurity.
So first thing I want to talk about is not an if, it's when. It's happening to, I mean, once it happened to the casinos in Vegas, which are some of the highest
Yeah.
secure, we've got government entities that are being taken down. What was the one that I just saw yesterday? The FBI warned everybody. So because I'm in the tech world, I get a lot of tech news and I'm in the cybersecurity space. So I'm getting a lot of these alerts of what are the bigger ones. The general population is not being notified about this. This is one thing to just be fully aware of, and that we should all start talking about more is Gmail was hacked yesterday, along with Yahoo, like all these things. So everybody's Gmails. They did, and then they just put out a little statement that we all ignore because we've all been so used to ignoring them. So that's number one, is stop ignoring those things. Stop ignoring, oh, I got hacked and this and that. So it's happening to everybody, from small businesses to larger businesses. And most of what's going on, it's not freak out. We all want to panic because, the casinos got hacked or Gmail got hacked. Those are all big things that are very, very secure. And if those can get hacked with AI, faster than us humans can create patches to do this, right? And they will fix it, but then AI can just think of something else. It's all about data mining right now, because data is the most valuable form of currency right now. I mean, as far as like countries all over the world, data is what is used to grow AI, and we're in a race to grow AI. What countries are going to have the best AI? Where this is going to come from? All these races to AI, and it uses data. And then data is valuable in that sense, and then it's also valuable in marketing, right? We all know that knowing exactly where you buy your milk, whether you drink vitamin D versus this, why would the vitamin D company
What did that
target
happen to you today?
Yeah.
Didn't it happen to you today? Like, seriously.
Might have just been circumstance, but as soon as I parked in the parking lot, I got an email from one of the shops. It was right next door here.
Yes, that was not a coincidence. That did happen to you, and it is instant. And they taught me. So, little side note on that. That's what I do for a living. It's called geofencing. And if somebody, little me, who just takes my class,
Geofencing?
That's what I was
geofencing.
trying to think of. I just couldn't think of what
That's
it
been
is.
around for like a decade. That's been around for quite some
Okay,
time. We've just
okay.
evolved it to instantly be. It used to be like geofencing was, it'd notify the company, and then it would be, you'd run, do you want to run an ad to that person? You get put in, you're in a database now, just so you know, you got put in a database somewhere. And then all of our phone numbers, emails, addresses, there's no privacy anymore, right? People want to, don't give out my address or phone number.
Too late.
Yeah, literally 30,000 people and every politician has it right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're all getting marketed to there.
And phone calls.
Yeah. So you can't really stop those things, but taking the time, so back on the cybersecurity thing, since we can get all over with that, is the data mining. They're often just after your data, and you can't really stop it anyways, right? But you can take precautions to be aware. We all get those updates on our computers that are just kind of annoying that we put off on our phones. You'll notice that your phone needs to be updated. I think there's one going on right now. A lot of phones are acting weird right now.
Yep.
It's probably because they need to be updated and they're doing some things. This is happening maybe once a year, every 6 months before. We're seeing this like monthly now, right? And do those updates. Those updates are most likely going to be your computers, not when your antivirus is expired and you just don't want to pay to update it again, get it, because it's going to let you know if you have something more than just data mining going on. It's important, and obviously our finances and identities are a huge part of what we want to protect in that stuff. So one is the data mining, and then the other one is actual the crime of it is growing. And this is one of the fastest growing crimes. I don't know about in other countries, but I do know in America is cybercrime. And this is from large scales to big scales, like the casino. They were held at ransom. We as a country believe we do not deal with terrorist ransom stuff like that. We do now, because we don't have a choice. It's at that point, and we don't really have a lot of things in place or laws in place yet for this. So this is something we're going to see more and more.
Oh, because they're coming from different countries too, right?
Different countries. And then you have like the low level. So AI kind of is revolutionizing that too, because then you have the low level, super smart high schooler who just knows how to code and knows how to utilize AI. And you can ask AI, find the weaknesses in this, digital platform and show me how to exploit it. And it doesn't have feelings, so it just does that, right? And if you know how to utilize that information, right? So then you have, we'll just use this as an example. You have a smaller mom and pop shop, and everything's ran. They have their point of sale system. We'll say it's a restaurant. Their point of sale systems, their menus, like all their stuff is going on that. Your Google, your website, your social media, things you've put thousands of dollars and many, many hours of effort to be successful in. And they're not going to target the people who haven't put a lot of effort into those things, because why would they, right? Robbers don't break into empty houses. So once you have something of value in a digital space, they hack it. And with very little effort, you can hack these things now, because let's face it, casinos are getting hacked, right? So smaller shops that even have these things put in place can still be hacked. Okay, give us $5,000 to a high schooler or somebody at a low level, criminal level, just does that, and then you move on. There's not a lot of consequences, and it's very hard to find them right now, just the way that.
But what are they getting out of it? Like, what are they doing?
They're getting the money. That's the criminal part of it. So money.
Are they skimming? Like,
no, they just hold it at ransom. So I shut you down. I shut you down if I take.
Like, you shut my business down.
I mean, how many businesses are running without any digital capacity at this point? None of them. You definitely spent money on your Google. You definitely spent money on your website. I mean, there are some businesses that thrive without those things, but a lot of people have a digital space in some capacity that they've spent money on. Their point of sale systems are all digital now. That's all digital. The reason the casinos were such a big hit, because room keys, those were all the machines.
Holy shit.
The machines. I mean, the entire the whole thing was shut down. Everything's digital now. Everything. This is why people like Elon Musk and all these people are saying we can't go to all digital. I do actually personally believe that the casino hacks, and this is my theory, so I don't know if this goes on the show. Yeah. I believe it was actually some of our entities that are trying to prove to the world we shouldn't go digital. That's why I believe did that. For the amount of money that they could have got for the ransom on that was not equivalent to, I mean, those casinos are losing billions, and they didn't ask for that much for how much they got. It was to prove a point, and they hit the biggest ones. Caesar was next. Like, remember how they hit him? I forget what order it was, but they're just letting you know, we can do this, and this is what happens if we're 100% digital. It stopped. It stopped Vegas. If we can stop Vegas, So
wow.
If you are a small mom and pop shop, it's equivalent to getting your storefront broke into nowadays.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay to get it back. You know what I mean? You got to fix it. And then you had your downtime while you were in there. So if you think in your own business, how much you run digital on that, some of us have solely digital businesses, and to have that, you're stopped. You're stopped until you pay the ransom.
Yeah. So what can I do to protect myself?
So the newest thing is getting, so number one, maintenance, doing all of your things, paying attention, getting all of your things locked down, VPNs, the regular stuff that you would want to do, maintaining your equipment, your digital space, staying on top of it, changing those passwords that we like to keep the same and then have to guess every time, making them longer than 12, this is wild. I mean, we have password vaults and we are coming out with things. What happens when the password vaults get
That's what I'm saying.
So it's definitely, so maintaining and staying on top of it and not ignoring it like a lot of us used to do is a big part of it. And just becoming aware of what's going on. Your device starts acting funny. Don't just let it until you call your tech guy to come fix it. Kind of stay up on those things. And then the other thing is insurance. We are now seeing insurances, which are super great rates at this time in our lives, at making sure that your insurance covers things like this. I was just talking to Jamie Mercer from BNI about this, and he was talking about that as well. That they have added this now to a lot of insurance policies, especially for businesses, but it's an additional cost. Then people don't even know about it, right? Until you get hit. It's like on your car insurance. You thought you were paying for everything except for that one side of whole left side of the car wasn't covered or whatever. It's like one of those things.
Wow.
So having the insurance, taking the proper steps, and then evolving with it. Paying attention to it, not putting your head in the sand. I think that that's a huge thing for a lot of us, and not panicking. I see a lot of panicking going on. And honestly, there's so much stuff going on in this world right now that it's what's going to happen is going to happen. And taking the proper steps, living an authentic life. I keep on going with that, living an authentic life. And paying attention to the world around you is important, but not allowing it to have you live in fear. Because remember, it's happening to government entities, banks, So many of our banks.
Yeah.
And it's happening for many, many, many different reasons. Like I said, the data mining, digital warfare is a very real thing that we're all starting to look at, on top of just the small criminal offenses that we have going on. But most of it's data mining, because data is the most valuable thing. So,
Yeah.
and if you have certain things that are of value to you, vault them up, put them in places, and do those things. Yeah. Having all of your stuff unified, having it organized, I think that's a big thing too. That is a step a lot of people overlook. Is if I were to ask you, how do you access X, Y, and Z of your digital accounts? Well, shoot, we got to look over here. I know this one, but let me get back to you next week on the password for that one. Just kind of knowing and having a cumulative game plan of where all this stuff is and how to handle it, so that when it does happen, not waiting till it does when it does. Being prepared for that, I think, is mitigating. It's like leaving the front door open on your business if you're not trying to mitigate some of this. It's an easy target.
It's a good analogy. Yeah.
Because they have AI that scans the internet on the back ends to find out what websites are easy targets, what businesses are easy targets. All of that is analytical information, and they're going to go for the easy targets with the most value. So paying attention to that. And then, your devices, all of our devices now have extra security features that we can put on it. So not just the digital, but remember that those are two separate things. The tech world and the digital world work together, but they do need to be protected both differently. So somebody, your tech would do your devices, and then your web person would do your digital space.
Jeez.
So that's why I offer the strategies, because when I sit down with people and I'm like, oh, and then you have the ADA compliance that just came out, and that's that whole
What is that now?
The ADA compliance is exactly what it sounds like, except for, so you know how it's important for storefronts and brick and mortars to have ADA access, especially the hotels and all of that. Same thing with our websites now. When COVID happened, it pushed the workforce and the educational system online. And there was a lot of grief. So people that are sensitive to seizures, color blindness is a really big one. Color blindness is one of the biggest ones we're coding for. At first I thought it was a joke again that I was going to have to code. Dyslexia, creating your website at a certain reading level, because America reads at 8th grade reading level. Super sad. So you get ranked differently on Google now if you have words.
Did you think it was lower?
Yeah.
You're impressed? I said, this is adults, not the kids, the adults. Because all of us left high school. We checked out in high school.
No way.
Yeah, so you have ADA compliance, and you'll notice it a lot. I think I have it on the directory for passages. It's a little symbol down on the bottom, and you'll notice it now that I pointed out to you. It's a symbol, often looks like a little guy in the bottom left or right hand corner.
Yes.
That's the ADA compliance. You can click on that, and when you click on it, so they can say, I'm colorblind, and it'll change the whole thing to be color, they can see things differently. Larger print is also another one, because you have kids of all abilities in school and people of all abilities in the workforce. So COVID pushed this all online, and you had people not coming to work because of these certain things that didn't affect them when they were doing it in person.
Wow.
So that was a new digital space that we could spend a whole episode talking about to
My
inform
goodness.
people. So when I sit down with my clients and I'm like, hey, you don't just need a website. You need a digital, you need your Google and your social media, but you also need cybersecurity, and you also need ADA compliance. And so my strategy is put that all in one place. I just take care of it every month. If a new law comes out, like California, of course, has different laws that you have to comply with than anybody, the other states. And so even if you don't do business in Cali, your business is not there, your website is. So paying attention to those things are important.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's a lot of growth and a lot of things. This is why when beginning the episode, I was talking about, do I want to learn all this stuff? Do I want to keep going? I do want to push into cybersecurity. I had a moment when I was learning geofencing, actually, what we were talking about earlier. And I was like, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think that I want to, the invasion of privacy that's going on. And the things, knowing Google has like a whole profile on you. It knows everything that you do. It knows, look how fast they know what we're saying. We always, they're listening to us. They've been like on our phones for years, but the capacity of how AI can use what they just heard, and then minutes later, I turned my VPN on, and I was so used to being marketed to, I kind of wanted it back on so it could tell me what I wanted. Like, oh yes, I do want this. I do want that. When you turn off the AI or the abilities to track you, it like stops the thinking for you. You ever notice like your ads and stuff aren't for me? And I was like, I want my own ads back. You know?
I get it. Yes.
That's what we do. And so it's taking all that information and just selling it, that people sell it and turn it into their platforms or things like that for marketing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, holy crap, you Rose. I mean,
Sorry.
push the button.
Can I just take it off? Or you want it on?
Record your little-
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the side. We do it?
Yeah, for sure. Am I talking slow enough and loud enough? Slow
you're good.
and low.
You're good.
I get excited about this stuff and then I start talking real fast. I do. I get jacked up. I get jacked up on this stuff because listen to me, people. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, we could talk. We could talk for.
Edit. You should have never told me we could edit things.
We could talk for hours. You could tell, Rose. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, for people want to find you, where can they find you and your biz?
Yeah, so the Passages directory has all of us lovely business owners listed. And then stack7strategy.com is a great way to connect and look at my services. I'm always trying to get that directory going. Check out all the other business owners there as well. And that's pretty much a great place to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Are you on social
Anywhere.
media or anything?
I am. Actually, you can follow me on my personal page because I am not doing business pages on Facebook anymore. As somebody who works in the digital space, that's a whole lot of effort for a little bit of return on investment.
Yeah, the
If it
ROI
is
is brutal.
not... so there is success on there for certain industries, but I have such a personable job and I'm going for the authentic feel of things and not so much the corporate look anymore. So Rose Carlson Samuels on Facebook.
That's awesome. All right. Hey, Kimberly Keys. Where can people find that lovely that list? What is
Directory.
It? The
It's called a directory of human beings.
on passages and find passages. Do you
Try it.
actually use your stylus too?
Let's talk about that. That's impressive.
Yeah, for real. Like,
Do you know what I started using is a mouse, and I missed it. I have been using my finger. On
your
my,
finger. Yeah.
I've been holding.
Yeah,
this.
so you can find the beautiful director she's talking about is at businessnetwork.com, and we can link it in the bio. Yeah, or just find us on Passages to Success. Go to the networking tab, and you can find the link right there as well. We encourage you to list your business, join our community, list your business, because it's just a great extra area to get connected, but also we're going to want to bring in some like resources and tools for business owners to download and be able to use in the future.
Cool. All right. Rose, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Trevor, thank you for staying. And thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.